The 80s are over half a century away at this point, and it's easy to forget how many excellent TV shows came out of the decade, but these forgotten series deserve to be remembered as classics. The 1980s were an interesting time for television, with showrunners beginning to play more fast and loose with the format. At the same time, 80s shows still have a look and atmosphere that dates them somewhat, with a handful of popular exceptions that can compete with modern shows. Still, even if they look dated, it doesn't make them any less worth watching. These 6 shows in particular are more worth watching than most, even if they've been forgotten. MacGyver, 1985 to 1992. By this point in the 2020s, the name MacGrubber may be more recognizable than MacGyver. The SNL parody starring Will Forte has become such a cultural touchstone that it's like he's replaced the character he was supposed to be parodying. For those who don't know, there was a show about a guy who could solve a problem with a paperclip. MacGyver premiered on ABC in 1985 and ran for 7 seasons. It starred Richard Dean Anderson as Angus MacGyver, an agent for a fictional branch of the US government, who can use his remarkable scientific skills to solve complex engineering problems. MacGyver notably never used firearms to solve his problems. With a parody like MacGrubber, you would think MacGyver would feel dated, but the action and problem-solving that occur in the series are legitimately exciting and worth sticking around for. It's been referenced everywhere for its core conceit, but MacGyver deserves acclaim for the story it tells as well. Crime Story, 1986 to 1988. Crime Story was produced by Michael Mann around the same time he was producing Miami Vice, a much more popular crime drama series to come out of the 1980s. Perhaps that's why it has been a bit overshadowed, but this gritty drama deserves its time in the spotlight as well. The late Dennis Farina was a professional police officer before he began acting full-time and had his first screen role come in Mann's 1981 film Thief. Mann must have kept him in mind because 5 years later, Farina was starring in Crime Story as Lieutenant Mike Torello alongside Anthony Dennison as Ray Luca. Luca is a mobster, and Torello has almost an obsessive drive to bring him to justice, something blurring the lines of the law in his pursuit. It was one of the first police drama shows to feature season-long story arcs rather than episodic ones, and the series leaves a lasting impression with its outsized emotions and violence. Fraggle Rock, 1983 to 1987. The lesser-known children's Muppet musical from Jim Henson, Fraggle Rock ran for 5 seasons, depicting the lives of the cuddly creatures who live in the titular world of Fraggle Rock. This world has 4 different species, starting with the Fraggles, fun-loving, playful, and kind fur-tipped creatures. Other creatures include the Dozers, who while generally kind-hearted and friendly, are devoted to their work and get frustrated when they're interrupted, the Gorgs, furry, humanoid creatures similar to humans, and the silly creatures of outer space who are revealed to be a live-action human and his puppet dog. Fraggle Rock is as creative as you would expect a Henson TV show to be and has a surprisingly well-sized spin-off and merchandise ecosystem. The series still does not get the respect it deserves, and if people can't be bothered to celebrate the show, they should at least listen to the intro theme and admit it's a jam. Sledgehammer, 1986 to 1988. With a lead character named Inspector Sledgehammer, you have a sense that Sledgehammer may not be a traditional police procedural. When you learn Sledgehammer is played by David Rasche, you can be sure that this 2-season ABC series is pure tongue-in-cheek satire. More in line with Leslie Nielsen movies than with Columbo, Sledgehammer follows Inspector Hammer, a stubborn, overtly sexist and reactionary detective for the San Francisco Police Department who believes in shooting first and asking questions later. He loves shooting so much that he even showers with his gun and lays it down to bed at night. The series is packed with jokes and feels years ahead of other television shows of the era, even mocking the tropes and genre conventions that are still a part of crime and police stories to this day. I had hoped Rash's part in Succession would renew interest in the series, but I'm still waiting for it to get its recognition. Only Fools and Horses, 1981 to 2003. The British series Only Fools and Horses ran for 7 seasons and was followed by several specials that ran until 2003. One of the great underrated British sitcoms, Only Fools and Horses is set in working-class Peckham in the southeast of London, following the Trotter brothers' highs and lows. David Jason plays Del Boy Trotter, an unsuccessful market trader who lives with his younger brother, Rodney, Nicholas Lyndhurst, and their elderly grandfather, Grandad, Leonard Pierce. Despite their age difference, Del Boy and Rodney are quite close, and constantly thinking up ways to get rich quick.